Logan, a lot has changed in the several months it's been since I made a video. Of course, I'm married now. You made a whole video about that part of my life, and a beautiful one at that. A lot of things change when you get married. And when everything changes, most people search for something familiar. In this case, I had the chance to show my new world, Karenna, to my old world. So I took that chance. I don't think any experience this summer, aside from my wedding, is as video-worthy as going back to my home after 3 years of being away. Prague, Czech Republic has been my home since 2008. I grew up in the city. I've even had Czech citizenship since sometime in 2021. Children who grow up in a country other than their own are called third culture kids. I'm one of them because with my parents, my culture was obviously American. But when I left the house, I was Czech. In school, church, on public transport, at restaurants. So growing up, I was an amalgamation of two cultures that created a third, and that third culture was uniquely my own. In high school, I considered myself more Czech than American. Now, I don't think I would say the same. I won't spend any time talking about the experiences flying to and from Europe. They were very eventful, but I think it would be better to make that its own separate thing. But there was something very important I noticed coming back to the place I grew up. And that was that my colors had changed. I've had a very eventful 3 years, to the point that I would say I'm a fundamentally different person than I was. Not just because I'm married and in grad school, but because the way I see the world is altered. The fact that my wife has never been to this country changes my view of it. The fact that I am now an adult makes me see it differently. The color of my glasses has changed over time, if that makes sense. I notice different things. I interact with people differently. I handle stress differently. And when different colored glasses are looking at old pictures, the result is a filter. Certain things stand out that blended into the background before, and other things fade away or are less noticeable. Small things remind you of the experience of your younger self. The things that got me reflecting on the past weren't necessarily the people I interacted with or the places I visited like I expected. It was manhole covers, the weird little mascots on store signs, hardware stores I haven't thought about in 3 years, patterns in the sidewalk that were a part of my daily commute, the tables downstairs in a KFC. There's a reason the cliche is, it's the small things. It's not that the small moments are more meaningful than the big ones in shaping who you are. It's that the small moments are what make you time travel. The things you forget are the things that show you how much you've changed. I ate and drank things that I haven't tasted in years, and there's so much memory packed into our taste and smell. After coming back home, quote unquote, the things that felt the same were the forgettable things. The similarities were what brought me back to my childhood, but the differences bothered me the most. My parents moved out of our old apartment into a house that was owned by some of our family friends. It wasn't our house, it was theirs, and it was hard to shake that feeling. My friends were growing up, and instead of having conversations about school, we were talking about their 9-to-5 jobs. Adults that raised me in church had wrinkles that weren't there before. And once I saw the differences, I realized something about myself. I wasn't Czech anymore. Well, I was. It would never leave me exactly, because I could still speak the language. I could still navigate public transport. But I could not interact with people the same way I did because I am a different person. I'm an American, more or less. There's a Czech saying that I love, and it says, "Kolik jazyku umíš, tolikrát si člověkem." It means, however many languages you know, that's how many people you are. Because language isn't just a code, it's a culture. And what I found out this time around was that I could speak the language, but I could never relate to a Czech person the way I could to an American. I'm good at making American friends, but as soon as I have to bond with a Czech person, I can't use the same strategy anymore. It's not that there's something fundamentally different about people and relationships there, because people are people. It's more that I lost touch with my Czech self. My college years, where people usually gain a lot of relationship building skills, were spent in America. I was still a Czech kid, but now I'm an American adult. There were several times at the English camp we helped at that I broke into tears because I realized I was never going to be Czech again. Not in the same way. I wanted to go home, even though most people would tell me that this is my home. My home had changed, and the dissonance was hard to deal with. Of course, that makes it sound like it was bad. It was not a bad experience. I loved getting to show Koruna all around the place that I grew up and relive the richness of Czech culture. I loved laughing at silly English names for products.
Smash ball.
Smash ball.
Smash ball.
I loved getting to eat Czech KFC again, which is better than American KFC, by the way. Side note, but they have the most hilarious obsession with American names for their meal options, like the California menu, the Texas Grander, or the Kentucky Gold Wrapper. I also loved being able to see and experience the beautiful architecture and nature that I think is often lacking in Southwest Ohio. I loved being able to be back, and by the end of my time in Prague, I'd really missed the place. But we're different now, Logan. I missed Ohio. I missed home. And when home doesn't feel like home anymore, you know your glasses have changed color. I've learned that our colors will continue to change. And when you re-experience something, you will never see it the same way twice. So, when I go back to Prague in about 141 days, I know I will see it differently. But don't just count your days. Live them.